I think it's all about money. It's all about money, and we will see the truth in the end of this.
The felony complaint involves 9 counts. 7 counts of 288A in violation of California Penal Code, commonly known as child molestation, and 2 counts in violation of Penal Code Section 222 that involves administering an intoxicating liquor to a child for the purpose of committing a felony. Those are the 9 counts.
We sat down with Michael Jackson on Christmas Day at a hotel in Los Angeles. What is your response to the allegations that were brought by the district attorney in Santa Barbara that you molested this boy?
Totally false. Before I would hurt a child, I would slit my wrists. I would never hurt a child.
That British documentary last February, which you didn't like, you said in that documentary that many children have slept in your bedroom. You said, yes. As we sit here today, do you still think that it's acceptable to share your bed with children?
Of course. Of course, why not? If you're going to be a pedophile, if you're going to be Jack the Ripper, if you're going to be a murderer, it's not a good idea. That I'm not.
Do you know how this looks to a lot of people? I mean, do you understand that?
Know why? People think sex. They're thinking sex. My mind doesn't run that way. When I see children, I see the face of God. That's why I love them so much. That's what I see.
This case is about one thing only. It's about the dignity, the integrity, the decency, the honor, the charity, the innocence, and the complete vindication of a wonderful human being named Michael Jackson.
I would like to thank the fans around the world for your love and your support from every corner of the earth. My family has been very supportive. My brother Randy has been incredible. I want to thank the community of Santa Maria. I want you to know that I love the community of Santa Maria very much. I will always love this community from the bottom of my heart. That's why I moved here. Thank you very much.
Let's look into the man's eyes. He loves children. Look at what he built, Neverland. That's someone who loves kids. He's a child that never grew up.
I travelled to the other ends of the earth to support Michael Jackson.
Jackson will get even more support today as his brothers, sisters Janet and LaToya, and his parents join him in court to watch the questioning of Tom Sneddon.
Mr. Jackson has been repeatedly advised by those who stood to make fortunes in his business affairs to pay money rather than face certain false allegations. As a result, many years ago, he did pay money rather than litigate 2 false allegations that he had harmed children. Mr. Jackson now realizes that the advice he received was wrong. He should have fought these actions to the bitter end and vindicated himself.
Hundreds of people have been enjoying Michael Jackson's hospitality today at Neverland Ranch, the very place where prosecutors say Jackson broke the law by molesting a boy.
Michelle, they came by the busload, dozens and dozens of children, by invitation only, from churches and church schools, from Compton to Santa Clarita to Santa Barbara, visitors to Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, and their host was here to greet them. Michael Jackson personally welcomed some 200 kids to his Neverland Ranch today, even as trial on child molestation charges looms for Jackson. Parents bringing their children in this morning were not concerned.
I kind of was thinking about it, and then I was like, oh, well, you know, it's a chance of a lifetime. I'm here, you know, to monitor what goes on, so, you know, I just took them up on the offer.
I didn't really look at it like that. It's just exciting to be here, and the kids are excited. They love Michael Jackson, and they don't know about all that type of stuff.
So what do you know about Michael Jackson?
I know he's a singer and a dancer.
And the kids are here at Neverland just a few days before a major evidence hearing in the criminal case. The media invited in as well and offered a train ride to the festivities for what a Jackson spokeswoman says is not an out-of-the-ordinary event at Neverland.
In the last few weeks, a large amount of ugly, malicious information has been released into the media about me. Years ago, I allowed a family to visit and spend some time at Neverland. Neverland is my home. These events have caused a nightmare for my family, my children, and me. I never intend to place myself in so vulnerable a position ever again. I love my community, and I have great faith in our justice system. Please keep an open mind and let me have my day in court.
Journalists from every continent were here, such is the global fame of Michael Jackson. It's an operation that's been months in the planning, led by the American TV companies. There was to be no repeat of the chaotic scenes at previous hearings. When the fans caught a glimpse of Michael Jackson, they saw a more subdued version of the man they worship. No showboating, no playing to the crowd, not even the usual entourage tagging behind. Just a few bodyguards and a lawyer for company. The judge in this case has set the tone for proceedings. He has little time for the media clamour nor the celebrity of the defendant. For him, this is a criminal case that must be taken seriously. Judge Rodney Melville told the first of hundreds of potential jurors that trying this case would require a great sacrifice. The possible pool of jurors, their identities protected, will be asked for their views on celebrity, on family values, and perhaps even plastic surgery before selection is complete. The trial of Michael Jackson, where fame and allegations of serious crime collide, and where the American justice system will be under enormous scrutiny.
One of the most well-known and controversial people in the world is in the fight of his life. If convicted on all 10 counts, which range from child molesting to giving alcohol to a minor, he would face more than 20 years behind bars, the end of his career, and the loss of his 3 children.
How do you deal with everything in your life being magnified, exaggerated?
It's not true.
Almost to a grotesque
It's like looking at a fictitious movie because it's fiction. It's like watching science fiction. It's not true. And I know myself. The bigger the star, the bigger the target. I'm not trying to say I'm the super duper star. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, you know, the fact that people come at celebrity. We're targets. And, but truth always prevails. And I believe in that. I believe in God.
And it's the same pattern like I told you with these other people in the past. It's the same pattern. So don't believe any of this, you know, this is tabloid, sensationalized kind of gossip. But this has been kind of a pattern among black luminaries in this country. I'm handling it by using other people in the past who have gone through this sort of thing. Mandela's story has given me a lot of strength, what he's gone through. The Jack Johnson story and Muhammad Ali's story. All these stories that I can go back in history and read about give me strength, Jesse.
He compared himself this week to Jack Johnson, Muhammad Ali, and Nelson Mandela. This must upset you when people take this when it's really not a racial issue.
The point is whether you are Jack Johnson or Paul Robeson or Martin King or Mandela, seemingly when blacks hit very high spots they're in a line of fire, Michael perceives himself to be in that line, and that's the basis of his statement.
It is a different world. It is a different world. It's not just the world of celebrity, but also for Michael, a lot of what's happening to him is because he's vastly different than everybody else.
But is it because he's black?
In part, yes.
Really?
Is it wrong for him to compare? I don't think he was saying, I'm this person, I'm this person. I think what he was saying.
But he's played that race card before. He did it with...
The race card is played every day.
What, you don't think he's getting a fair trial?
Has he ever been in?
What happened?
Has he ever been to court yet? Every time I look, he's sleepy in the bed.
Prosecutors in the Michael Jackson trial are calling their last few witnesses before resting their case.
We are well now into the third day of jury deliberations in the Michael Jackson trial.
We love to be a Michael Jackson fan. We love to be.
A chorus of collective voices cheering for Michael Jackson.
Jackson is convicted on any of the most serious charges. It's expected that bail would be revoked and Jackson would be taken into custody immediately, where they're already preparing for the possibility of a high-profile inmate.
This is the facility where Jackson will be brought?
Yeah, Dan, it's my understanding that they have a cell here ready for him.
Really? They're already prepared?
That they're prepared.
When you say Jackson would be on suicide watch, as a practical matter, what would that mean in terms of his cell?
It would mean that he would probably be under 24-hour camera so they could watch him at all times. They would have a log where they would log every 15 minutes or so what he was doing. It's an area where there's a lot of access by officers who would be walking by and looking in, and it's an area that would be away from other inmates who may taunt him.
And he eventually could end up at the Corcoran prison, which is the state prison here in California, where Charles Manson and Sirhan, others notorious criminals, are housed.
The jurors had been at it for 30 hours over 7 days behind closed doors when they finally told Judge Rodney Melville they'd reached a verdict. Michael Jackson had an hour to get there from Neverland. His caravan of black SUVs arrived in front of the hundreds of supporters and demonstrators outside the Santa Maria courtroom.
The alternates are coming in with the 12 panelists, and presumably now within the minute, we should start to hear this audio feed from inside the courtroom.
As the jury verdict is read to us, to the entire world, all those people who are watching and listening right now.
We have been told that the judge has the verdicts in hand and is looking them over right now.
Here we go, Jane. This is the audio feed from the court.
Superior Court of the State of California for the County of Santa Barbara, Santa Maria Division. The people of the State of California plaintiff versus Michael Joe Jackson defendant. Case number 1133603. Count 1 verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of conspiracy as charged in count 1 of the indictment. Dated June 13th, 2005.
And as soon as the court clerk started reading the counts, and it came back not guilty, not guilty. With each one of those reading of the counts, not guilty, the fans would cheer, and then it would become silent again as they waited for the next count. This happened 10 times, and when the last count was read, the cheers were so loud they were releasing doves and confetti and balloons went up in the air, and it was almost deafening when the crowd, the fans, realized that Michael Jackson had been acquitted on all the charges.
Then immediately they quieted down to hear the next, and it went through all 10. Clearly now it's pandemonium out here among the crowd members. They are jubilant. Inside the courtroom, we understand from our producer, Michael Jackson dabbed his eyes with Kleenex during the reading of the verdict, and now you can see the SUVs are pulling up, and Michael Jackson will be getting inside one of those vehicles and heading to wherever he wants. He is not guilty.
Michael Jackson himself, the first time we've seen him since being acquitted on these charges, just walking through the court, not an emotion on his face. He still looks rather blank, composed. One can only imagine what roller coaster of emotions he may well have been going through.
As Michael was walking out of the courthouse that day, he was quite subdued. I think a lot of people wanted to see him celebrate. Tell us why he was quite reserved.
Do you know, Tito said, if I were him, I would have got back on top of the car and danced and cheered. It was time to rejoice. I think he was so torn apart, so hurt, and so beat up. After the verdict, we all got back to the ranch. Michael went upstairs. He had a sandwich, which was a turkey sandwich, I think, and he put on the 3
Michael Jackson, the king of pop. If it wasn't for Michael Jackson, I would never have ever performed. He's made such an impact on my life and every performer's life. Michael Jackson, I love you. We all love you. I want you to give it up for the king of pop, Michael, 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 Michael Jackson. Congratulations. Diamond Award.
I love you. I love all the fans from the bottom of my heart.